Welcome back to Fantasy Turf War, the show where 64 teams go head-to-head to see who's the ultimate champion. I'm, of course, your Commissioner, Cory, and I'm so excited for today's episode, as you'll be able to tell from this interview. But first, a happy Sunday to you. I hope the weekend treated you well, and you guys are able to spend some time either relaxing or spending time with family, hopefully both, if you're able to. And, I think this episode is by far... I don't want to say one of my favorites, but it is definitely one that I was looking forward to conducting, and I think you'll see that enthusiasm throughout the interview. And before we get started, I'm not going to do any of the show notes and all that stuff today. Look, you guys all know the news and all that, so let's skip it for today. It's Sunday anyway, right? It is a pretty crazy time right now, and I think we need some levity and we need some more love out there, and the world needs to recognize kindness within each other and show that to one another, and we just need more of that. I think, without getting into too much detail, the world's just kind of dove into chaos lately, and I think the world's done with that part. So like my good friend says, choose the good. And this episode in particular, it was a referral for the team. Someone brought it to my attention and said, "You've got to see this." Man, I'm trying not to cry. So they said, "You've got to see this. It's the most heartwarming thing I've seen all year." And so I saw it, and I was so compelled. I didn't know what else to do other than see if they wanted to play some fantasy football on YouTube. And so I tried to find any way I could to get a hold of them. And it's an awesome video, and you can tell he's genuine. I'm sorry, this is the interview with Chet Atkins. I'm so trying not to cry. Chet Atkins is also known as Cheddar72. If you've seen the viral video, he had a video go viral shortly after June 15th. He was playing Twitch, and someone had generously donated. And the reaction that unfolded and the interaction between him and the donor just went everywhere. Millions of views. He's absolutely skyrocketed into the mainstream popularity in terms of content creation, and it is very apparent that there's no better person that it could have happened to. And after talking to him several times now, even though he's a 49ers fan, he's an awesome guy, and it's even better that he was the voice of Crush in Turtle Talk with Crush in Disney's California Adventure, which is added geekdom points there. So this is probably one of my favorite interviews to this point. Not that I didn't like all the other ones, just this one kind of hit pretty hard when I saw it. I think my wife was bawling her eyes out. I was tearing up, and it's a good time, and it's a great interview, and he's got an amazing story. And so I'm glad to share this one with you. And Chet is a great guy, genuine, authentic, exactly the same in every conversation I've had with him. So I know it's real, and I'm glad you guys get to see it. And it's a great way to end the week. It's a good Sunday episode. It's feel good. So you guys are going to enjoy this. And all right, Chet Atkins, here we go. Good afternoon, Chet. How are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing?
I am great, and I'm very excited to have you in the league. So I want to start with welcome to Fantasy Turf War, and welcome to the league, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're very happy to have you. Your story is become quite legendary in the last month or so. I think as a date of recording, we might be about a month away from it. So I think it's an awesome story. We shared it when we announced that you were one of the teams, and we'll dive into that in a second. But I wanted you to first take some time today and get to know you as a person, maybe beyond the video. We'll talk about a similar, or we'll talk about a fandom we both share in some Disney characters. And one of my big motivators, and I was really pumped when you were expressed an interest in joining the league. And so,
nice.
if you could, let's start with the actual, like, your actual background. And so you're a
Okay.
Twitch streamer, and kind of how did that all start, and then we'll dive into the rest of it.
All right. Well, from the very beginning, I've been entertaining. I was an entertainer on my tax forms, if you call it, uh, for since out of high school. I've done it my entire life. I've done other jobs, but my most common job was being an entertainer. I started out touring the world and touring the country with a group called the Young Americans. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're a touring group, performance group, and we did, I guess you can call them workshops for kids. We taught them how to sing, dance, and the goal was to keep music into schools, because music is a very good thing to have in schools, in my opinion, and to the Young Americans' opinion. So it was a really good cause, and I got to tour the country. Went to 46 out of the 50 states. And I have a few more to go, so we'll get to North Dakota eventually. I don't know when I'm going to get to North Dakota. Yeah, not in the winter. We'll find North Dakota at some point, and Alaska too. But yeah, I went to and then I got to be a director for them as well, and went to Europe and got to tour the British Isles and Germany and Ukraine and all these great places in the world that I never thought I'd get to go. So from there, I was too old to be in the Young Americans. So I had to move on, and that's okay. So I started working other jobs. Like I was, what do you call it? I was in tech at a theater here out in Orange County, the Orange County Performing Arts Center. I worked as tech there and moved stuff around and did lights and that kind of thing. But I always wanted to go back to entertainment, and I got an opportunity to go to Disney. And so I applied for this place called Innoventions. And if you've never been to Innoventions in Florida or California, it's kind of like a building with technology in it. And the cast members in there kind of perform little shows and that kind of thing. And I was stoked to be a part of this. I was like, this is going to be cool. And I never thought I'd be a Disney cast member, and I made it. It was so cool. I got to be a Disney cast member, went through the whole traditions and did that. And then about a year, maybe less, into my working at Innoventions, there was an audition posted for this really cool job as the voice of Crush the Turtle. If you don't know who Crush the Turtle is, he is the little turtle, or well, I shouldn't say little, he's a big turtle because he's 150 years old. But he is the turtle on Finding Nemo that Marlin meets and Dory meet, and they surf along the EAC together. And there's a show in Florida and in California Adventures in Anaheim, California, that you get to actually go up to this tank. It looks like a tank, and you can interact with this turtle. And I was auditioning to be the voice of Crush the Turtle. So I did the audition, and I made it, and did the training. And I never thought I'd be able to make it through the training because it was so difficult. This is a difficult job, but I made it through and became the voice of Crush the Turtle, and I did it for 15 years until recently. A couple years ago, I had to I got cut quickly because I was missing work because of an illness. But it was an amazing time of my life, and I'll never trade it for anything. The path that I took. Now, since I got cut from Disney, I was looking for something else to do as I sat at home and got better from my illness. And I thought streaming would be something cool. Streaming would be a neat entertainment way. I play video games anyway. And so I thought, well, why don't I just play video games and stream and talk to people and see if I'll get an audience. So I did that for a couple years and streamed to literally 0 people or 1 person, which is okay. I totally understand that that's what you got to do. Yeah. And then one day, this guy came on and he called himself Kind Penguin, and he said hi to me, and we had a good conversation together. And he ended up posting, or actually, first he donated $450 to me, and I was like, whoa. I couldn't believe it that this guy was able to pay me, and I was scared that he wasn't going to be able to do that, because that's a lot of money. But he said he was fine, and so he donated that. And then about a week later, he posted a video. If you haven't seen it, it's on Pudgy Penguin's TikTok, and you can see it there. It's all about the transaction that happened when he posted that $450 donation, and it went viral. And when I say viral, it went very viral. I believe the video is at like 60 million views right now, or something like that. It's something crazy like that. And it got
it's
me.
impressive.
Yeah, I'm unbelievably shocked by it. But it got me an audience and a community we call the Crush Crew, which, by the way, is the name of my football team. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But that's the story of my life, and I'm happy to share it with whoever needs to be shared it with. So
Yeah, I love it, and I'll kind of circle back to the Crush topic. So obviously, Crush is a hugely popular character. With No Hurling on the Shell, dude, I just waxed it. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm a big fan. So
nice.
when the video came out and you were singing the Happy Hatch Day song, and I was like, oh my god, this guy's awesome. I've got to see if he's like remotely interested in this 64 team fantasy football thing we're doing. And your story in the video with Kind Penguin, it was so genuine in that your first reaction wasn't one of greed or like a this is my life kind of thing, and thanks to another drop in the bucket kind of thing. It was immediately put back to him of like, are you sure this is something you're okay with doing? Like, this doesn't set you back or anything like that, and like you have no idea how much this means, and like that shows that you were the right person for that to be done to or gifted to. And
thank you.
You are very deserving of it.
Thank you so much.
It made me tear up, and my wife was bawling her eyes out when we saw it. So we're like, oh my god, this is
nice.
Yeah. So going back to kind of the process of how you got into being a cast member in Innovations and ultimately Turtle Talk. What did you have a particular role in Innovations that you were doing something specific, or was just kind of an onset?
It was a host at Innovations. It's kind of like you walk around and you're set in a certain spot, and that spot either has a show to do or just helping with the guests to play video games or play the particular technology that you're in front of, and got to fly in here. And
it's okay.
Yeah.
You got to fly.
Okay.
I got a spider somewhere.
We're dealing with bugs. We're dealing with bugs life over here. Disney everywhere. So it was a role of a host, and it was still entertainment. So that's what I loved about it, and it was fun. I got to interact with guests and be a part of their lives when it comes to visiting Disneyland. And that was on the Disneyland side, not the California side. So I got to experience both parks, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's always been like a wish list of mine, and I almost took a college program position. Financially, didn't end up working out, but yeah. So a dream job of mine would be working at either a Haunted Mansion or Jungle Cruise, which I'm sure like 90% of us Disney geeks out there are all on the same page with that. But
totally.
And then I definitely remember Innovations from one of my first trips. It was Disney World, not Disneyland, but I remember the different stations, and we have some Polaroids, you know, back in the day when you only get so many photos before you got to take it to
Yeah.
Target and sit there for an hour. And yeah, so I have some funny pictures of like there's a tech where like your face would morph with someone else's face, and yeah, some
Oh wow, that's cool.
kind of creepy pictures, but cool. It was a cool
Yeah.
experience. But so now I'm curious about Turtle Talk. So it sounds like it was
Sure.
an internal posting, and you said like the competition for it or the application process was kind of tough. Do you know how many people are kind of in the pool of voices that ultimately like rotate, or how many there
Yeah.
was in the application pool?
When I was when I auditioned, it was actually the very first audition, so there were hundreds of candidates to be a part of this, and I gotta say, that's why I didn't know if I was gonna make it or not, because there were so many talented guys, that even some girls auditioned as well, which is interesting. But
Hmm.
yeah,
All right.
yeah, they have voices like us, which is cool. That it was interesting. But ultimately, they didn't make it, but I did, and yeah, so it was about 150 to 200 people, maybe 175
Wow.
uh, in the pool. Yeah, it was pretty tough. And in every audition, because I got to be able to see other auditions as I worked later into life and into the career of Crush, I got to go to auditions for them and be a part of the auditions. And there would be literally just hours and hours of candidates coming in doing the turtle voice for us, and trying to get the job. So in my training group, there was 12.
Okay.
So in the world, there's probably only been maybe 300 to 500 people doing this, and who's ever done it in their life, because you got probably a pool of 12 to 20 people that do it at a time. Like right now, there's probably about 12 people or 12 guys doing this right now. If you go to
Okay.
the store, if you go to the Disney uh, California Adventure right now, you would see one of 12. And in lifetime, there's probably been about 300 or so people that have ever done it. So it's a small number of the world to have done Crush the Voice. So
That's cool. And so what
yeah,
was the application process? Is it I'm assuming it's not as simple as come in and say a line like crush, like is there some improv involved, or like what do they have you do as part of the process?
yeah. When I went in, they said, okay, do this actual line from the movie, and that's what I did. I believe it was something about the EAC. I can't remember. It's been 20 some odd years now, so it's been a while since I've auditioned. But uh, and then I decided just to go straight into improv myself, which is maybe why they picked me, because I went straight into talking about pizza and wondering what that was about, and so there is a little bit of improv. They want you to improv, and they set us in a line of with the guys to improv and do some improv games and see how we did with improv. And so, yeah, improv was definitely part of the job, and is part of the job of Crush the Turtle. So, being a good improver is important.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. I'm sure most of us have seen the videos online of if some kid asking a completely out of left field question, and so having to give an answer to that is
Yeah,
probably something you've got to be ready for. So I can imagine.
yeah.
Do you have any funny stories or any memorable moments that you had to share?
One of them I just saw. I was going through YouTube and I was looking at some of my old shows, and this one kid, and this happens a lot, but he asks, "What do turtles taste like chicken?" And of course, Crush goes, and the first thing he does is hide
Yeah.
behind the rock and go security, and says, "You got to be careful of this dudette. She eats turtles or something like that."
Yeah.
And then you go out and do the famous line, "Turtles are friends, not food." And so I love interactions like that when they they think they're being funny, but it makes it funnier for the crowd. So
Yeah. Yeah, those are great videos. I don't think I ever come across one that I don't just stop everything and watch, just because it's just such nuggets of greatness that
yeah,
how can you not?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and my sons, they both say dude and sweet and totally, and so
Nice.
it's a thing in the house. So it's all good. So you mentioned you made the switch over to Twitch after some unfortunate circumstances with your medical stuff, and then from all accounts, it sounds like you're on the up and up with that. Is everything's good there?
Yeah, the health is getting better, and I'm able to go out, and now I'm able to make a little bit of money, and so everything's getting up and up. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, that's great to hear. I'm glad to hear that you're
Yeah,
feeling better. And
thank you.
everything happens for a reason. And
Yeah,
maybe there was some sort of reason and silver lining in that, and that maybe the silver lining was playing some fantasy football on YouTube.
yeah,
I doubt it, but maybe. Okay, so I think might have the understatement of the year when you said you've had like this virality to your Twitch profile in the last year, in the last month,
yeah, yeah,
and it's not even just your Twitch profile; it's all of your social media.
yeah,
And so when the video was posted, you were celebrating. Penguin was becoming your 101st subscriber on Twitch, or follower
yeah.
on Twitch,
Follower, yeah,
and when I checked your profile when they sent me your information, I think you had cracked 274,000. And then when
yeah,
I checked a couple of days ago, I think you cracked 290,000.
yeah.
And so that's, and like I said, we haven't hit an actual calendar month yet. That's tomorrow. And so to say you've had a monumental rise to fame is a huge understatement. But that, like I said, I think that all goes back to, one, you're doing something you love, and you're already playing the video games, and you're not forcing yourself to be something you're not, right? Except for
True.
Crush, unless you could be Crush, then be Crush.
Yeah,
But and then with the post that was shared that kind of showed everyone, it was that genuineness and that kindness, and that you immediately thought to the people that were trying to help you to help them too. That people naturally want to follow stuff like that, and like I said, it's not just Twitch; it's across all of the platforms, and I think that kindness is what is needed, especially they were recording this yesterday. Was a very sad day for our country, and
yeah.
and I think we need more of this kindness out there, and that's
I agree.
it's just a good heartwarming story, and I'm really glad to have you part of the league, and hopefully we can share that message with everybody else too.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah, so kind of making a hard pivot from the Crush side of things, and we had talked about this before, so I don't want to like startle you with it, but the video games you were playing, I wanted to touch on like what kind of games you actually like to play, and so I was studying up for the interview, and you were playing Walking Dead, and it was pretty gruesome.
Yeah, it was. One of my actually people that watch me, one of my audience members said, "You guys should do a story game like the Last of Us or The Walking Dead. Those are two story games that are really popular." And I thought, well, I have The Walking Dead already on my game list, so on Steam. So I said, I think I'll do that. And I didn't realize going into it how gruesome and how emotional it would be. But now in hindsight, I'm going, whoa, this is way crazy. But it seems to be doing well. The audience seems to be loving it. So yeah, The Walking Dead has been pretty popular with my group of people that are watching. So
Okay, so
we'll see.
yeah, and like I said, it's gruesome, but it's great. It's great to watch. I'd much
Yeah.
rather you play it than I have to play it, so that I can look
Yeah,
away if I
totally.
got to look away. So other than Walking Dead, what other kind of games do you normally like to play? Are you a sports
Oh
guy,
yeah.
first person shooter?
when it comes to video games, I'm a lover of most video games, but I love first person shooters like Call of Duty and Fortnite, third person shooter there. I also love, and I haven't played them in a long time, but sports games are actually some of my favorites. I love playing football and baseball, especially baseball. One of the things I used to do, and I did this in football games too, is I'd create my own team, and then I'd put players on the team of my friends' names. So
Nice.
I'd have my friend Adam be, the linebacker, and I'd have my friend Brandon be the quarterback, and of course I'd be in there too. You got to have your own player, made. So, and that was always something fun I did.
Yeah, you always put their character stats are all 98s, but then your own you put 99s. You're just gonna be a little bit better, So I get it. I've done that too. Was it ESPN? Oh my gosh, NFL 2K12 maybe one of those. Nice. I did the same thing and tried to take my team from like imaginary college team to like NFL team, and it was pretty cool. I love doing that.
Very cool.
But now I've got little ones in the house, and we're playing Minecraft and Mario Kart. Lots of Mario Kart.
Yeah, and, which are fun. I love playing both Minecraft and Mario Kart, so I'm there with you.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get back into the normal games. I think we just played Baldur's Gate 3.
Nice.
It was Starfield, so I'm starting to get into those now. I finally have a computer that can process that kind of stuff. So
very cool.
Finally getting back to normal there. So we've talked about your Twitch career there and how you got your starting from your Crush days, and so let's talk football now. Let's talk shop. And so
love it.
On the elephant in the room here is that in both of our conversations and now, I have a Raiders surfboard that my mother bought me from somewhere in the background. I've been a Raiders fan my entire life, and I noticed you have a 49ers shirt and you had a 49ers jersey on. So I'm going to guess you're a Broncos fan.
Oh, yeah. Broncos fan and Green Bay. They're my favorites.
Oh, Green Bay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Enough of that. We won't pretend that anymore. Sorry, Green Bay people.
It's okay. They're eating cheese. They're fine.
Yeah, they're fine. Yeah, I'm a huge 49ers fan. I've been one since I was little, so it's not like I jumped on the bandwagon or anything. Since Montana days, I was one of those little kids that pretended to be Montana and loved playing him in Tecmo Bowl with Jerry Rice and Ronnie Lott, and loved it. Yeah, and it's interesting, right? Because we have our loyalties when it comes to our favorite teams and things like that. But when it's fantasy football, it's much more about the individual. And so, as a fantasy player, I love Christian McCaffrey, but he happens to be on your team now. So, like, I'll still root for him. It's just if my team plays your team, I'm hoping my team wins. But of course,
a little bit harder to say when your team's been successful in the last couple of years, and mine has not. So, might need some reevaluating there. But
well, when was that? A couple years ago, you almost made it to the playoffs. I was rooting for the Raiders.
Yeah, we were on a hot streak there with Derek Carr, and then he ended up getting hurt, and everything just kind of went sideways. I think it was, I don't know, maybe like 5 years ago, something like that. And then we hadn't really had anything promising since 2003, and we squandered that one. But it happens. Injuries happen, especially late in the season. So there's only so much you can do. But your 49ers are sitting pretty good. They came close. And like I said, Christian McCaffrey's a fantasy legend, so can't really knock the team.
Yeah, totally. And I'm loving their defense too. So it's going to be hard not to choose their defense to as part of my team. So. Yep.
It'll be interesting. It's always a topic, right? It's like who does it? Who pulls the trigger and picks the defense and starts the run on all of them? And I've seen it. Someone's done it in the first because they were so confident, and then I've seen people just not pick up any defense, which I think is kind of crazy. Ooh. But it's a risky one. So yeah, it's always interesting to see where defenses go, but I think San Francisco's definitely top of that list of teams to be drafted. So we'll
Yeah.
see. Should be a good year for them for sure.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think Chris McCaffrey's like a clear number one across the board for draft
Yeah.
picks. Or so
I agree.
yeah, I wish he'd stayed in Carolina, but that's besides the point. But such is life.
Yeah, such is life.
Yeah. All right, so fantasy football. Fantasy Turf War. We've got 64 teams. It's pretty intense competition.
Yeah.
I've had to get into a habit of stop wishing everyone would win, because then I realized I would be making 63 other people very unhappy at the end of the season. But I think you've got 10 years of experience, so that's not nothing. It's about halfway in terms of the pack of years of experience. But how many championships in those 10 years have you had?
Yeah, unfortunately, I've had 0. I've never won a championship. I've come close. I've gotten into the playoffs a couple times, but never won any championships. And again, this is all my fantasy football experience is from just doing it with friends. I've never done it with the public. So everyone knew that I never won any championships on my part of my friends. So they definitely stuck it to me, if you know what I mean. Saying you're gonna win this year, buddy. You know how you gonna do. So
I feel like what they didn't tell you is why they were doing it, and that's because usually it's the person who's never played before, never heard of it, that ends up winning the whole thing. So they had to deliberately take you down before you had the chance. So it's more out of a fear for you than anything else.
Yeah.
So, but look, it's all right. Like, playoffs are significant achievements on their own, and it's kind of a coin flip once you get into the playoffs as to how far you get, and it's a lot of luck, and is what it is. But if you've been doing it 10 years, you at least know how to play, and you know what it takes to get to the playoffs. And then once you get to the playoffs, it's kind of just a how do I survive this week kind of thing. And I think you're in good shape. I think you're probably not the top end of teams to compete, which is good, because I think all of those guys are 30 plus years of experience in their X amount of championships, and it's like that's just a big old target on their back and a lot of attention.
Yeah.
So that's good. You just want to stay right under the radar and out of everyone, and then you just knock them dead at the in the playoffs. So I think you're sitting in a good spot there.
All right.
And so we covered it before, but your team name is the Crush Crew, and so that is also your community's name on your Discord. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. They actually did a poll to see what I wanted to name the community, and we had Turtles, we had Crush Crew, we had what was the other one? I can't think, but Crush Crew ended up being at the top of the votes. So I thought that's a pretty cool name, Crush Crew. And then I thought, you know what, that's a great name for a football team too. So why not name my football team that? So
yeah, I like it.
History is made.
Yep. It's a perfect fit. And see, look, there's a silver lining. See, it all works out.
Yeah, it all works out. There you go.
All right. So now we'll go ahead and start overtime. So you've indicated that you have seen some of our interviews before. And so we've had to change the questions a little bit because everyone was getting to the world peace answer, and then it was the same answer for everybody. So I was like, all right, we gotta change it up a little bit. So we're like, we get it, world peace. So we have some new questions, some old ones. It's kind of a mixed bag. But 3 questions. Every team gets 3 questions, and it's just meant to play with the answers for a little bit, see what your take is on things, and then there's no preparation, so you have no idea what I'm about to ask you. Only guarantee is there's no math, and it's Sunday. No math on Sundays. It's a rule.
Yeah, thank you.
So yeah. All right. Question number 1, and it's an oldie but a goodie. Do you believe in aliens?
Oh, that's a really good question, and I gotta say, I'm someone who believes in evidence and science, and I'm someone who thinks that the universe is pretty big, and we know that for a fact. We have evidence saying that the universe is big, and we have evidence that there are other solar systems, and we have evidence that there are other planets in those solar systems now, and we have evidence that there are Goldilocks planets on these systems. And when you line it all up, you think, how can there not be someone alive, or some sort of intelligent being out there? So my answer to that is, I believe that there probably most likely is something out there,
Okay.
because the numbers just numbers are just too huge for them not to be.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they visited us yet. I don't think that that's a thing. So I don't believe in that, but I definitely believe that there's something out there for sure.
Okay, so that's a pretty common answer we get is not a hard yes. There, it's ID4 hanging over the White House kind of thing, and
Yeah.
and just a definite no. So I think you're right with everyone else, and that the statistical odds, which plays well for us in fantasy football,
Nice.
that
Yep.
there's something out there. So cool. All right. Now I'm curious for this second question. I'm going to stick to an oldie on this one as well. And so, what
Cool.
is the most interesting item in your room, office setting, and what is the story
Oh,
behind it?
well, let me get it real quick. Hold on. This is a football signed by, I don't know if you can see the signature. It's kind of hard to read, but it's Steve Young.
Okay, nice,
And he actually wrote Chet all the best to you, and he wrote Super Bowl MVP and Hall of Fame 2015,
very
and did
cool.
it. One of my favorite and most interesting uh, artifacts in my room. I also have a Steve Young 49ers helmet up here. I won't take that down because it's too heavy. But yeah, it's I two things that mean a lot to me and are very interesting. Another thing I wanted to show, you can kind of see it
I
right
was going to
here.
ask.
This is actually something that was shared in another one of your videos by somebody. I think it was, I forget who
Casey.
it was. Yeah, Casey shared this. This is what's called a mousker. We get it on film here,
Wow,
and there's my name there, and I have, of course, Crush hanging from his hand there, and this is my 10-year pin
very
for
cool.
being at Disney for 10 years. A mousker. Let me put this away real quick. Sorry. A mousker is a play on Oscars that um so it's an award for I won it for working lead of the year, and it's a thing that they did for years. They don't do it anymore, which is a shame, but they did it for years, where they would vote. You'd vote. The cast members would all vote to see who won the award, just like in the Oscars, and the winners would receive one of those. So I can be proud to say that I'm one of the few people in the world that have a mousker. So pretty cool.
Very cool. And how I don't know the right word for it, but how cool is it that we have two people in the league that have one?
I know
They're
when I saw him show it off, I was like, "No way! I have one too." I have to show that off in my video. So
it's cool.
I'm glad.
Yeah,
I'm glad that happened.
yeah. I'll message him and let him know to watch this interview so that he can see. And then yeah, it's
Very
cool because
cool.
I know how rare they are. I've never seen, well, I've seen them on obviously on video. I've never seen one in real life, and there's two of them in the league, so it's like, oh, look at that.
Yeah, very nice.
So very cool. I like it. And I like all of those. For the football and the helmet, did you get them at a convention or was it like an on field thing or?
Very good question. The helmet I bought on a whim. It's unfortunately it's not verified, so it could be a forgery. I don't know, but
It
it's an
counts.
official helmet. The helmet's official, so at least there's that. But it looks like it's Steve Young's signature, so that's all I care about. I bought
Okay.
it on eBay
Okay.
when eBay was a new thing back in the 90s. I thought, and it worked out. But again, it's not verified, so I don't know if it's his or not. But the football is definitely real, of course. My best friend's wife works, or my best, I think you get this right. My best friend's wife's, who's also my best friend, their father works for ESPN.
Oh, okay.
And works with Steve Young on ESPN.
That's so cool.
So they knew that I was a 49ers fan, and of course a Steve Young fan, and got that for me for Christmas one year. So unfortunately, I didn't get to meet him in person, but just the next best thing where a friend got it for me through knowing him with ESPN.
So cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Look, we don't have to worry about the authentication of the signature. I think we could say, without having seen it, it counts. It counts.
There you go. Thank you.
So those are cool. I love autographs, memorabilia. I have a couple of Christian McCaffrey things.
Oh, nice.
There's a helmet, and we went to a game where he had scored 4 rushing touchdowns and put up like 400 yards against Jacksonville.
Whoa.
And so I have a picture of one of his touchdowns where he got flipped over, like end over end, and it's signed by him. So I like I said,
cool.
I'm a Raiders fan, but I love Christian McCaffrey. So
yeah, he's a great guy.
So yeah, and I actually ran into him. I ran into him at the airport once, and I had no idea who he was. But
wow!
Whoops.
Yeah.
So I'm used to seeing the jersey and the helmet, and like I don't really follow people like players off the field necessarily unless there's a big thing, like Taylor Swift. So like I ran into him, and he said, "Oh, hey, nice jersey," and I had no idea it was him until he walked away, and I was like, "God, that guy looks familiar." Yeah. Oops. Yeah.
It was him. Oh my goodness, that's hilarious.
Yeah. So, yeah, but like I said, he's fantasy god, so you can't really knock him. And
yeah, definitely.
Now I know what he looks like in person. So, yeah. All right, and question number 3, and this one is a new one. So, world peace can't be the answer. So, sorry. I mean, it could. Whatever. Anyway, so question number 3. You have to imagine you are a WWE wrestler.
Ooh.
What is your walkout song?
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, there's so many to choose from. This is hard. This is difficult because I want to do something with like classic rock because I'm a classic rock guy. So, I mean, I could say something by Led Zeppelin or something like that.
I will say Zeppelin was used in my last interview. So.
Oh, really? Yeah, I would say that, but something. If I was a wrestler, I want something that really kicks in. And the only song that's really getting into me is this song called "Wake Up" by Rage Against the Machine, which is it's a pretty hardcore song. So, and it's telling everybody to wake up. So, I used that when I played baseball. I would pump that in my ears and wake up.
It's my kind of music.
Yeah, totally. So I probably have to say that "Wake Up" by Rage Against the Machine. Very cool. Yeah, I like it. This is a great answer. And I'm gonna see if I can like find a way to pipe that in like right before the interview. So there you go. We'll try and make your actual walkout song. Yeah, just a couple seconds. You don't want to copyright infringement things. Yeah, exactly. So awesome. Well, Chet, I think it's fair to say I could probably go all day talking about Turtle Talk because I'm a big Disney geek. Yeah, definitely. But it has been awesome talking to you, and I'm so glad you were wanting to join the league and that we were able to get you on board. And I'm excited to have you here. And I would offer to like co-stream with you on Twitch, but I'm gonna like mess up your kill death ratio on probably every game. So just I'll watch. It's probably best for everybody. No worries. I understand. I used to be good, and then I'm not anymore. So I'll watch. And I do watch actually. I watch your content quite a bit since I nice. It was thank you. Pointed towards you. So like I said the Walking Dead game
Took me a little bit. I gotta walk away from that a little bit from the gruesomeness,
Yeah.
but it's all good. So, and
Yeah.
it's good content. And in your community too is it's a really solid community, and I think that's important too nowadays. Is not just you being a brand in that your own persona kind of thing, but you also have a community behind you of like-minded folks that are sharing in your
Yeah.
passion, and they're equally kind in the Discord, and we'll make sure we link to all them and all that stuff in the show notes, of course. But yeah, they're great people too. And even when
Yeah.
I was trying to get in contact with you, extremely helpful people and just the nicest people in the world. So, kudos to the Crush crew.
Yeah. Thank you so much. They're awesome.
Yeah. So on that note, Cheddar72, where can people find you? Where can people, we'll link to the specific video, but where can people follow along on your latest happenings?
All right. So if you would like to follow me on Twitch, you can find me at twitch.tv/cheddar72. That's 2 T's, cheddar, CHETTER 72. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok, same name, cheddar72. And you can also find me on YouTube, Cheddar72. Everything's Cheddar72, so you can easily find me out there. Just type into Google, actually, Cheddar72, and I'm sure I'll pop up. And you can follow me on any of those. And if you would like to join the Discord, there's ways to find the Discord, too. So I'll find there's links everywhere, so you can join the Discord.
Yeah, and I think the easiest way would be to, well, at least the way I did it is I went to your Twitch page, I followed there, and then there was a link to the Discord from there as well.
Yeah.
And so there's links, and we'll find the most direct one, and I'll put that in the show notes so that people can have an easier time. But you also produce
Awesome.
Great content, so they should watch some of that too.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe with the kids around. Depends on how they're behaving today, I guess. But
yeah, we try and be kid friendly, so that's the good thing about it too.
Yep, yeah, I love it, and I love watching it. I'll be working on all the Fantasy Turf War stuff for my day job, and I'll just have it on the background, and it's just great stuff to watch and listen to. So I love the content, cool. And keep up the great work.
You.
And I think you're really onto something, and I'm glad the opportunity seemed to have happened to the right person. And
thank you.
I'm really excited to see where you take it from there, and we'll see how you do in the league as well, and we'll stay up to date. Yeah. But it's always awesome talking to you, and I really appreciate it. Did you get the fly?
No, I just swiped him away there. He's in my face.
Pretty sure the spider bit me. So.
Oh no!
I'm gonna get a origin story or something out of this. Hopefully.
Yeah, you are definitely.
You should see me like 2 hours later. I'm in the hospital because it's poisonous.
No, that'd be horrible.
Just telling the doctors, "Where's my superpowers?"
That's awesome.
All right. Well, it's been awesome talking to you, Chet, and we'll see you in the draft. We'll see you in the league, and best of luck to you, sir. And
all right.
Have a good day.
You too, buddy. Thanks for everything.
Of course. Thank you.